Live from America's heartland, this is the Daily Truth Report with your host, Noah Christopher.
Welcome back to the Daily Truth Report. I'm your host, Noah, and we've got a returning guest today on the screen. Joining us is Patty Greer. Patty, we are so happy to have you back on the show. Welcome.
Thank you. What an honor to be in front of you and a few million of your best friends.
Yes, that's exactly right. Right now we're clocking in about 4 million people a month across everything that we do, tune in and read and listen and everything else. So you're amongst friends. We really enjoyed having you on the show probably about 6 months ago now, and that was a lot of fun. So we had to have you back on. We want to hear a little bit for people who don't know about you, your story, and then we want to talk about C60 Evo. We're big on that here. We cover that a lot. And we've had your business partner on, Chris Burris, and always enjoy talking with him. But today we said we got to have Patty on the show. So today we're talking with you, and we're going to cover some different things. I know Chris he's always got his lab coat on, and he really looks at the science of this stuff. Yeah. And we want to hear a little bit more about the human side of it from you and testimonials and what you're seeing in the business, because I know you get incredible testimonials from your customers, and I want to talk about some of those. So that's our roadmap. I'm going to let you do most of the talking from here on out, but maybe start off, if you would, tell us a little bit for the people that don't know you. You have a fascinating story. Tell us maybe the short version of your personal story, what you've done in your life, and what led you to be such a believer in C60 that you wanted to be part of the company.
Thank you. Well, I also want to hear your testimonial some point during our show today about how C60 is working for you and why you asked for another bottle, which I love.
Yes.
And now the new hair renewal, which I love, because what we're selling is things that people need, not extraneous things that people probably don't need at a time like this. Briefly, I was a UFO filmmaker. But UFO is the wrong term, because crop circles turned out to be, I'm trying to get the light right.
Yeah, we can see it.
An earth science rather than an unidentified flying object. They're on the earth, so they're not flying. They're unidentified. No, they're not. They're called crop circles. And they are an object in the earth. But I proved after 8 films, which was so much fun, that crop circles are absolutely real, and that they're coming out of the earth in counter-rotating vortices of spinning plasma fields. I didn't know until my 8th movie, which is Crop Circle Diaries, my final film, that the entire science has been hidden, because the seeds inside crop circles, if treated correctly, and we know the science, can grow 30 to 400% more food and biofuel per plant, with up to 75% more nutrition per seed. So what we have here in crop circles is a scientific technology that could literally bring our food supply back. Once we get rid of Bill Gates and, all those GMO things, we're going to be able to recreate seed science to where we're working with charged density plasma, hitting the seeds and multiplying their not only yield, but they also, we found in the lab, repeatedly, not me being there, but the scientist William Levengood and Penny Kelly, his partner that I worked with in my final film, Crop Circle Diaries, they found that the plants will grow when it's too hot, too cold, too wet, and too dry. So all this climate change woo-woo talk, so what? All this food scarcity, huge issue, but we've got a science here that could change everything happening in crop circles. So that's why William Levengood was wasted, all that science. He was really, really respected. And then they did what they could to get rid of him when he proved that we've got something major here that's absolutely real. It's not unidentified. It's not flying. It's an earth technology that's actually the earth herself, in my opinion, speaking to us in a language we all understand. Crop circles.
And Patty, I'm going to put our prior interview. It was so fascinating. You brought pictures, and we got into a lot of this stuff, and they were just, it's mesmerizing to see some of these pictures. I know we've seen crop circles, but some of the stuff that you've been, because you were on the front lines. I'm going to take that whole interview and put it on the back end of this one. So if people want to just keep listening, they can roll right into that, because that was really some incredible stuff in that. So We'll do that. We'll put the links also. I know you. What's your website, Patty? If they want to go
My
find some of
website.
these.
Yeah, cropcirclefilms with an S.com.
Perfect. We'll put that up there too.
Cropcirclefilms.com. So I won a pile of EB awards, which are behind me. You can see next to the big amethyst crystal, there's a silver alien with a movie camera on his shoulder. I got 5 of those for best film, best music, people's choice at the International UFO Congress Convention, which used to be, in my opinion, the greatest UFO event in the world. And I started going in 2007, 8, 9, 10. But in 2008, I filmed 28 of the most incredible speakers in ufology, which included all the greats, the 4-star generals, a couple of astronauts, Robert O. Dean, Wendell Stevens, like the grandpas of ufology. And I filmed them in this movie, and I won't even tell you what I went through, but boy, did it get suppressed. And then all my movies got suppressed. And starting in 2013, I was going through what everybody, you, Noah, and all your, the influencers that we work with are going through now, which is ungodly suppression. But I was, I think, an early practice case. And at one point, there were 234 stores selling my movies on Amazon without my permission, without paying me. And some of them were $750 each to try and destroy the possibility of me selling movies. What's interesting is that all the greats that were in this movie, which is called UFOs, ETs, Abductees, and Brilliant Minds, they started dying. Let's just say they died suddenly. Now we know what that term means. They died suddenly over a course of 5 years. And it was devastating. Robert O. Dean, Dolores Cannon, Stanton Friedman, Dr. Roger Lear. My favorite was Robert O. Dean and Jim Mars. And boom, 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 boom. And they were all around me. And then they were dying. And then we started having terrible things at the events, icky transformation, icky dark. And I put all my movies together in a box and put it for half price. It's called Crop Circle Ecstasy. All of it, movies, music, because it was really getting hard to sell. And then on my website, somebody came on and covered my website when I was on PBS with a statement that said in 2013, 9 years ago, telling the truth in times of universal deceit is a revolutionary act.
Very good. Very true.
Right. And it was an old George Orwell statement, but they had this and that, the apostrophe, the quotes upside down, backwards, so, it doesn't scare me. It just pisses me off. Are you really going to waste my time? And then Vimeo and then YouTube with the fake copyright strikes. I had 5. It's my original music. I wrote the music. Shut up. And I couldn't get rid of them. So it was kind of this leech, that I kept trying to pick off. And finally, I'm watching people die, and it wasn't okay. And then at my last gig, I was leaving, and something happened to me at the airport that I can't describe. But somebody hit me with something and I collapsed to the ground, and I haven't been the same since. As far as walking, hips, low back, I got hit with something awful. And that was 5 years ago. And then a couple of years later, somebody put uranium in my garage because apparently telling the truth in times of universal deceit scares weak people. Sorry, weak people. I don't find them anything to be respected when they go after people that tell the truth. But here we are now in 2022, and I'm watching you tell the truth on 6 posts a day that hardly anybody else is covering. Boom, here's no report. It's just like, ow, ow, ow. And I'm so glad it's you and not me now.
Well, we do hear from a lot of people that say, I used to have my head in the sand, and you've really woken us up. And we just search out the truth wherever we can find it. And we may not have every little angle correct. We're still searching, but we do what we can, and we try to get the truth out there. So and it's so encouraging to get the feedback from the people that read, and people like you, and people that we get dozens of emails a day from people saying the same thing. So we appreciate that. Yeah, I'm curious, how I've never even seen uranium. How did you know you had uranium in your garage?
The idiot.
What's it look like?
It's a mustardy brown dirt looking stuff in a little glass vial with a cork top that on the side it said carnotite uranium.
Wow.
And I knew exactly who did it. So, I don't know if he's MK Ultra or mentally ill, but it was somebody I trusted, and bad mistake. But again, we're doing the work of the street fighters. I call myself now the granny street fighter after working with Scotty McKay and sending him Evo. Now I'm calling myself, I'm the granny street fighter. And my friend said, are you going to get out in the street? And I said, hell no, I'm backstage street fighter now. I'm backstage. But, to be able to supply the important people that are doing what I used to do, such as you with C60 Evo, this is not backstage. This is front row and center. And this is what I do now.
So
And
how
the
did
reason
how
I'm
did
doing
how did
this-
you yes, how'd you do it? How'd you get from that life of making these videos? How do you transition over to this product? Now we haven't even introduced it yet. We've called it C60,
Right.
and it there's a lot of testimonials about your health. I know we have to be careful. We can't say it cures any disease or treats any
Nope.
disease, but there are amazing testimonials. So how do you go from that to this?
For me, now Chris is the scientist in the company, Chris and Robert and Fabio. They run the lab and the shipping. I'm the social director, and I'm also the product designer. And I got a new recipe that we're going to come out with a new product in January. So I get to do the fun stuff, which is fun for me, all the promotions, the ads, dealing with people like you, setting up the shows, but also reading all the comments and testimonials, getting a feel of the public, what they want and need. And needless to say, 2 years ago, we had a very different world than we do today. Thank God for people like you. Thank God for a company like us. So when I got wounded, I had to be wheeled onto the airplane. I mean, it was bad. And I had to be wheeled off. I don't even know how I survived, but I consider myself kind of a science project now. And the fact that I survive, I really give credit to the C60 Evo that is made in the only lab in the world that's been running for 31 years by the guys that invented the original reactor that burns graphite rods at the heat of the sun to make carbon-60. So it's not graphene oxide that is so different and dark and awful. It's not bots and negative and we're going to get in your, no, that's not our company in the least. Robert and Chris, my partners, have been making carbon-60 fullerenes since 1991 for research institutions such as Inc., tires, solar cells, batteries, and selling to research institutions around the world. When you sell to a research institution, they're going to get the bottle, they're going to put it in an HLC, it's a very complicated machine, but they measure the carbon-60 to make sure that when you say this has 0.86 milligrams or 0.68, it's going to measure that when they put it in their HPLC machine. So high performance liquid chromatography.
Wow.
Again, I'm not the scientist, but I'm working on my bits. So everything was tested and they really have high integrity. So they've been doing it all this time. And all of a sudden, about 5-6 years ago, people started experimenting with it in their bodies because we knew that we were dealing with radiation. We knew that we were starting to deal with cell towers and different things and the airplanes spew in the sky. And so people started wondering, will this help us? I don't know how they correlated that, but the lab was experimenting because in 2012, our lab donated the product for the only science experiment on longevity. Toxicity is what they thought it was in history. It's the longest longevity results in history was with C60 Evo original formula. So what happened with the industrial grade C60 was that people were starting to call and say, how much should I take? And Chris and Robert are going, no, you don't put that in your mouth. And they said, oh, I've been taking it and giving it to my dog and we're okay. So now they're panicking at the lab. And why are people taking it? Because this girl that people kept trying to kill is still alive. Hi, guys. And it's because of the C60 Evo. It's literally called ESS60 rather than C60 because C60 is industrial grade carbon-60. But we reinvented the cleaning manufacturing process so that it's no longer industrial grade, which is not safe for humans, but instead it's really pure, clean C60, not 95.9 or 95.5 or 99, no percentages. This is pure C60, and we call it ESS 60. So we created this at the lab to be specifically for humans and pets. And after testing the other online C60 products, realizing that they're using a lot of industrial grade, our lab stopped selling to people that they knew were selling it to people. They said, no, 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 you can't do this because people are going to start getting sick and you will hurt the industry. So they actually started turning down money. And I was so impressed with the 2012 Paris Bhakti study where I'm sorry to say it was rats, Wistar rats that they use in lab testing. But these rats were given water in one group, water and olive oil in another group, and then olive oil and our ESS 60 in the third group. And those rats lived out 90% longer than the other rats. So proved that it wasn't toxic. Not only was it not toxic, but these rats lived 90% longer and they died without tumors, which is unheard of with Wistar rats being tested for toxicity, that they would have no tumors. So now we're looking into that, of course, and I would never make any medical claims, but I will say that we have 2 different customers that have clinics. And I called and I said, wow, 3 dozen more. I'm curious, what do you do with all this C60 Evo? And he said, well, we've got a 4th stage C clinic. So we're dealing with really extremely sick people, and we're using it for daily protocol because it is helping.
Whoa.
Again, I'm not making a medical claim. This is what I was told.
Wow, that is incredible. Yeah. So speaking of that, Patty, I have one of my bottles here, and you asked for my testimonial. I'll give you that in a minute, but I'm looking at your bottle, and so it's exactly what you just said. ESS 60 is C60 that has been processed for safe human consumption. Unprocessed C60 may be harmful. So you really got to make sure you're getting the right stuff. And that's what led me to your company when I first started hearing people talk about this. And it was before the demic hit us.
Yes.
But I had been hearing about this and then of course got really interested in 2020. And it's just been wonderful. I'm also looking at your bottle here. So I think let's just totally cover our bases here. I'll read this for everybody. This product has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So you're upfront with that. You're not saying it's been through that process, but what you do have is incredible, and it's the on the ground testimonials from people taking it. So I'll give you my testimonial, and then I want to hear from everybody else. But I've been taking it now probably for a couple of years, and I like to take it a couple times. I do it almost every day in the morning. Just kind of find it gives me a nice boost in the morning. You have 3 different flavors. The olive oil one I think is supposed to have a little higher potency, so that's the one I take. And yep, that's right, the blue one. And I just take a small amount in the morning and feel great. Oh, there you go. And now sometimes that I will take an extra dose at night. Maybe if I've had a couple glasses of wine or whatever, I'll take just a little bit with that. And I tell you what, I wake up feeling great. I don't feel sluggish the next day. So that's kind of my secret weapon. If I've had a little bit of something, I'll take that, and it really makes a big difference. So again, I don't know what the science shows behind that, but I do know that I kind of think of it as my secret weapon, and it works. So I don't know if you've heard that from other people or not as well, but I like it. And then I've gone from time to time, and sometimes you kind of get out of habits and you forget to take it for a while, and then you start noticing. You say, well, wait a minute, I don't quite roll out of bed as easy, and I don't have that pop, and so you can really tell when you go off of it and then go back on. That sometimes you get used to it when you're on it, and you forget what it was like when you weren't taking it. So that's my testimony. But I want to hear from people, and then I really want to hear about this new hair restoration product, because we could all probably use a little more thickness up there, maybe. So I'd love to hear about that. And but I just want to hear generally what else are you hearing from people? This is it's incredible stuff.
It is incredible stuff. I'm surprised you take it at night and sleep like a log, but they do call it a hangover helper. I've heard a lot of people say, when I know I'm going to go drinking, I'll do a little extra Evo.
Hmm.
But I do mine before noon. And that way I have energy all day long and I sleep well at night. But yeah, I don't typically recommend taking it at night, but some people can drink coffee and go to sleep. So you might be
Yes.
one of those, but definitely it's a good hangover helper. I don't think I have found anything it doesn't help.
Mm.
Like it kind of works for everything. So it's getting easy for me to come up with new products because I know it's going to work.
Mm.
And
And why do you think that is? We're made up of a lot of carbon. Is it because it's a carbon molecule that interacts well with the body? Do you have any theories on why it works so well?
well, Chris would have to give you the science. I'm like the woo-woo intuitive side of the company.
Mm.
And so my woo-woo perception would be that my intuitive perception is that it is like an intuitive molecule that knows where to go in different bodies.
Hmm.
For me, it's worked on things that I especially needed. And I found that in the beginning, I was so toxic after the idiot put uranium in my garage
Hmm.
that I had things coming out of me that shouldn't have been, like leaving my system, and it scared the crap out of me. But I started thinking, gosh, I wonder if this is almost like a roto-rooter going through my lines, kind of like I don't want to get gross, but like a colonoscopy
Mm.
with olive oil. It was almost like it just cleared everything out of me that might not have been good. And that was in the beginning. So some people that are really toxic might feel a little queasy in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, boom, your system clears. And it's like a whole new thing. You feel so much better. Your skin starts to clear, and everything kind of lights up, hair, nails, and all over body. A lot of people. So I read testimonials for like the couple hours before the show. I started looking at all the testimonials, and I've got 15 or 20 of them here. And I was thinking, I'd put on my glasses and read a bunch of them. But overall, I'd rather give you like the overall feeling, which was nobody had doubt. Everybody stated I could feel it quickly.
Mm.
Everybody stated I slept better. The thing that's great about pets is they don't lie, and people love their dogs and cats. So when they have an old dog that's barely moving and he's lethargic and they give him the C60 Evo, those are my favorite testimonials because those dogs just come back to life. There is a really good one. Colleen on YouTube wrote, "My dog is so happy with C60 Evo, 13 years old, dancing, horny little Pomeranian."
Mm.
Somebody else claimed their 14-year-old dog was finally humping again, the young dog. So there's something, dog romance that appears to come back, which is a sign of, if that goes to humans also, that's not bad, that we might be able to regain our intuitive testosterone. But it's funny to see that in dogs. But people are saying, my poor old dog, he never came upstairs anymore. Now he goes up and down the stairs.
Mm.
Those are great testimonials because then the people are saying, wow, I'm not just taking care of me, but Bowser gets to come along and live longer. So, yeah, and needless to say, when people's dogs are healthy, they feel better. When people are healthy, they're better for the outside world. Another overall thing, and I'm curious if you noticed, is mental acuity,
Mm.
mental focus.
Yes. Yes. The ability to maybe stay focused on something for a longer period of time is what it be what I would say. I tend to have about 10 different tabs going in my brain at all
Right.
times, but it kind of helps you sort those out a little bit, I guess, is maybe the way I describe it. You're better at that than me. What would you say?
Well, I think of the research you have to do to come up with that many stories being fresh. So I think that it has benefited you. But again, I didn't know you 2 years ago. Were you always massively energized? I will tell you that my oldest influencer, who I've worked with for 15 years, Alfred Lambremont Weber. Do you know who he is in Canada?
I don't think so.
Okay. So he was a lawyer and a judge. He went to Harvard. He did all these things. And now he is running News Evolution with me and Laura Eisenhower once a month. And he does a show every day. The man is 80 years old.
Hmm.
Okay. 80. So he takes these 60 Evo. And about 5 years ago, before I got the new company and got him going on it, he was starting to slow down, and I could tell that sometimes he'd lose his focus. Okay, so Alfred Lambermont Weber this year, 2022, everybody's encouraged to stay home, of course, and so he's has no problem with that. He's written 5 books, 5 completed, and I said, "How many pages is the first one?" He said, 800.
Oh, I don't think I've read 5 books this year. That's impressive.
Really impressive. And he puts out a show a day, and he writes articles. And so here's somebody taking C60 Evo, and he stopped for a while. He thought, yeah, maybe I need to like take a break. And he said, boy, could I feel the difference. And as soon as I got back on it, he doubled up. So instead of a teaspoon, he's doing a tablespoon. And he's so excited with his new energy. So I sent him the hair renewal that we just put out maybe a month ago. Now, Alfred has, long hair, and he used to, I'd see it back there, in a ponytail, and it's gray on the sides. All of a sudden, we get on the air last week, and I screamed. I was like, what? He had a black ponytail down to almost his stomach, black. Like his hair has gone black, and it's grown really long. And I just kept looking. I was like, is that your hair?
Huh.
He said, yeah, pretty amazing. And he's spreading it out. And he says, the antenna, the Native Americans, and,
Wow.
hey, so there's a testimonial.
Wow. No kidding. Well, I love everything that you guys put out, but I think the hair product is just really, I mean, that's a major deal that a lot of people have to deal with. So very cool. Let me do this. Let me pull up your website really quickly. And we'll of course put the link to this down below. But let's get this opened up.
Well, the Michael Jaco, I don't know if you know him.
Yes, I've never met him, but I know who he is.
I think I have to introduce you guys to do a show together. We do 2 shows a month with Michael. Sometimes I throw in a third because once in a while I get naughty and talk about what I know about the world. So he's doing the hair product, and he's been bald since he was 18, and now he's got fuzz on his head.
Oh,
and
wow.
His big silver mustache has gone black.
Wow.
Stuff works.
Incredible.
Stuff works.
Well, here's the website. I'll put the link to this down below. And I wanted to show people, I know I think you made the right call. We love hearing your stories. You don't have to read these, but if people want to read them, they can go right to the homepage and look at this. It just goes one after another. Here's someone talking about the hair renewal. Here's someone, central nervous system issues.
Amazing. That one was amazing. The MS guy.
Well,
back
there,
that
yeah,
up. That
it'll
one
go
was
back
incredible.
there. Yeah, look at that. Will it give me, if I click this, will it give me, yeah, there.
This was most amazing.
Hands trembling, vertigo, central nervous system problems. Has made a 100% change in my life. The change took about 2 weeks. Clear, focused energy, customer for life. I hope this helps someone out there. That's fantastic. And I love reading
But the
these.
beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, you missed the beginning. I'm so blessed to have found this product. I'm using C60 Evo olive oil. I have CNS issues, hence multiple scarring, MS, of the myelin sheath. This is serious. He has MS. I just wanted you to throw that in.
Yes.
This causes hand trembling, vertigo, and all these things that went away in 2 weeks. Now, I'm not claiming it. He did.
Yeah. Wow. That's right. So again, and I like the honesty behind your company too. You sometimes you stumble into the best inventions, and you've put this out there, and people are doing what they do with it, and they're testing it, and they're just getting these incredible results. So I love focusing on the stories as well. I think that's a lot of fun, and I could probably spend half of my day reading these too. But I'm going to tell people, just go to the website. It's c60evo.com. So that's the letter C, the number 60, and then Evo, EVO.com. And we'll put the link right below this video. But you can go here.
And what about /Noah, is it?
Yeah, we do have a special link here. I'll find what that is, and I'll put it on there. How about that? Thank you for bringing that up. Well,
yeah, definitely.
We've got a special landing page, and I think you got a discount on there too, don't you? That you offer people that are listening to this?
Yes, all your customers, anybody listening to the show will use your personal code and save 10% off. But we're going to tell them about all these deals we have, such as the holiday gift sets. So here's the hair product, the green duo on the right-hand side. And then we've got a face product, a blue duo on the left side. And what these are new products, both of them in the last 2-3 months. And they are adding a copper peptide called UTH29. Our scientists found that for 30 years, very much like ESS 60, 30 years of scientific research has proven that it's excellent for hair, skin, nails. It just does wonders. So we finally are working with peptides in these two products and getting rave reviews. I mean, to go through what people went through the last 2 years and then get the thing in the arm and people are losing a lot of hair for obvious reasons, this is going to help, hopefully. And we recommend that when you do any of the outside products, that you also take the olive oil interior. So you take a spoonful of olive oil and you're getting boosting benefits from the in and outside of your body. When you put things on the outside of your body, you're going to take in, they say 60% of that goes into your system. So you want to be boosting from the inside, boosting from the outside. I don't think there's any way you're not going to have success.
Fantastic. Now, so there's two bottles in this product. One has the C60 and then the other one has the peptides. Is that the way it works?
Correct. So we don't call it C60. Chris he used to make me put a quarter in the cuss bottle because he says we don't sell industrial grade. Other people might, but we don't. I'm like, ESS 60. And I have to, get our influencers to also, because there is a difference. It's kind of like Kmart or Saks Fifth Avenue when it comes to quality. Not that Kmart is worse, but Saks is more expensive because more time is made, finer ingredients are used, perhaps. There are some reasons, but it's mostly arrogance. We're not arrogant. We're more about the quality of the products. But when you've got something that works, it's really nice compared to all the things that we have in our cabinet that are going to waste because they don't. I buy a lot of things that are like, yeah, no, I don't anymore, but I used to. This product works. So what you have is the taller bottle is a blue formula with the peptide, and you squish two little squeezes into the palm or fingertips. And then the little bottle is the ESS 60 oil. And the reason we separated it into two bottles is because one is oil-based, one is water-based, and they don't mix unless you do emulsifiers, which we don't want to use. Those are icky. So if we do it in real time, you put it together, you mix it right in your palm, and then you rub it right on your scalp. And you just keep rubbing it into your scalp. You massage it a little bit, preferably at night, because then you go to sleep. You're not going to get sun on your head. You're just going to relax and have it go into the hair follicles, into your scalp. That's where you're going to get the best results. If you're bald, throw it on in the morning also. And I bet you'll have twice the results.
Incredible. Okay, I love it. Now, this stuff, everyone can see the page here. It's like you said, it's not cheap. It's more of the Saks Fifth Avenue style. But I think we're going to do something really fun. Are you prepared to announce? Are we doing a giveaway for everybody watching this right now?
We are. Yes, we're going to have a raffle where once a month you are going to pick one of your listeners to get a complimentary bottle of the C60 Evo olive oil caps. And those are one of our favorite items that people like. It's the olive oil, which is the strongest, but we put them in gel caps. That way you can travel with them. You can carry them in your purse, your briefcase, leave them in the office. But mainly travel. You're not going to get the oil pulled out of your suitcase for carry-on because, we have 4-ounce, 8-ounce, and bigger. So these are easy. And a lot of people don't like the taste of oil. So you get the caps, you don't taste it. You just chuck them on down with your other supplements that may or may not work. And what I found is that we're getting really big compliments about the gel caps because the gelatin is a food source. And sometimes when people take their C60 Evo and they don't eat, it doesn't have as much to grab onto to digest it and make it the maximum. Perhaps I'm just, guessing, but my friend said she gets a lot more effect from the gel caps because it's kind of like food and olive oil at the same time. She gets a huge boost from it. So we are going to give away a complimentary bottle every month. You are.
I love that.
And You just send us their address and we will take care of the rest.
Oh, that is very, very cool. We have raffle software that we use. So everything is 100% on the up and up, and I don't know who's going to win. The computer picks the winner, and entry is totally free. Everyone can enter. In fact, we usually do it where there's like 4 different ways to enter. You can do some different stuff, share some stuff online, sign up to the service, and again, it's totally free. So it's just something we like to do. I know the price is not for everybody, and so I loved it when you came up with this idea and you emailed me and said, hey, what if we just gave one away? And that's so great. So we're going to do that. Someone's going to win it, and we're going to do one a month. And so if you don't win the first one, you can win the next time. And now the only downside is if you win and you start taking it and you really like it, you might get hooked. But we can't be responsible for that. So
we are responsible, and you're welcome.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
I think with 4 million people, I think we should give you 2 bottles a month for 2 different winners. And I'm going to let my partners know you've got too many people. I think we need to go 2 with you. So how about every 2 weeks you do a winner?
Oh, that is great. I love it. I'd be happy to. Thank you so much.
All right. Consider it done.
All right. Well,
so let's talk about the products, shall we?
Please.
Since you're on the page. All right, let's go to the top again, and we'll just do a rundown. Okay, so the hair we talked about, the facial 2-part serum is the second facial product that we've designed. This is the 2-part. It's got the peptides in the luscious blue cream. And again, you put 2 squirts on, and then you pull out the yummy little rose ESS 60 oil, and you put the activator into the fingertips, rub it together, and rub it on your face. A lot of people like doing it twice a day. I like to use the other facial product, which is all natural, 21 amazing smelling ingredients at night, and then this one in the morning. But I don't use any other products, and most of the people that we sell to don't either, like base, all kinds of crap that people used to put on their face. This is so nice, and it's like a really soft layer. You can feel it the first morning. Your skin will be better. I think, again, I shouldn't say everybody, but from the testimonials, it seems like everybody the next day that's a friend of mine has called me and said, what? How can it work this fast? I think it does. So now this new one with the peptides is more for wrinkles, fine lines, and the testimonials have been ridiculously good, really good. So then we've got the capsules.
Patty, really quick, sorry to interrupt, but one thing I wanted to point out to people is you do offer a monthly subscription, I think, on every item or most of your items, and you get a really nice price savings. And so there's no obligation to continue. So if someone wants to try it, I know Chris always recommends, he says, just sign up for the monthly subscription. And if you don't like it, you can cancel, but at least you'll get a little discount. You can see the prices drop on both of these.
Discount. Yes, we get 20% discount for subscriptions. And more than half of our sales every day, every week, are subscription renewals. Our subscribers don't quit. And you save 20% every month. We encourage people to do it because you'll save 20% off the bat. Plus, if you sign up and you use Noah's code at checkout, NOAH, you'll get another 10% off your first order. So there's all kinds of ways to get deals. But yes, definitely sign up for a monthly subscription to save money. And then you only have to put in your credit card once. And like we said, if you don't love it, call us, write us. We are effortless to work with. Our customer service are all really young, nice people, far nicer than me. I always say that because we have 500 positive reviews that say, oh my God, Joanna's so nice. They really are. If you have any questions about products, returns, which very few returns, they are the people to deal with. And the phone number is in the top left of the website, which you can see right above the logo.
Yes. And I'll echo that, Patty. I do work with a lot of different companies, and I first of all, I only work with companies that I personally have used and like, and then want to work with more. And that's how I got to work with you, because I'd actually used the product, and then I said, hey, can we maybe work together? Because I want to tell everybody about this, and then we've been doing that ever since. But I only work with companies that I personally use, And then the other thing is with your customer service, most of the companies that I work with, because of that, they are great, and I know they're going to be great, and I know people are going to have a good experience. Every once in a while, you hear a complaint. I have never heard anyone complain to me about your company. I have only received positive comments back, and that doesn't go for everyone. Sometimes people just have a bad experience, but I have heard only great things. So that's a real testament to the way you run things, and you do it right. If someone isn't happy with what they got, or if something went wrong, you've as far as I know, you've always made it right with everybody.
I feel like the luckiest girl in the world to be partners with these guys. They've been selling industrial grade. They've had a shipping department and a manufacturing lab, biggest one in the world. They're the only ones that invented the C60 machine. I mean, these guys created it from the beginning, and they're still doing it today. So when it came to who should I invest with, who do I want to start a new company with, there was no competition. And I called them, and they were like, "You're the girl who's on the air. You're the one talking about it." And literally they said, "We're sending you an NDA in 30 minutes. How soon can we fly you down?"
Wow.
So they flew me down. And I walked into their lab on day 2. They had to, make sure I was good enough to let me in their lab, or honest enough. And when I saw the reactor, it just dropped me to my knees. It was just so Star Wars, so huge. And the whole lab, everything in the lab is huge and sparkly, stainless steel. And oh God, they just do it right. And it's the easiest thing I've ever sold, because everybody loves the products. So yeah, I'm really enjoying being a part of this company. So if you the caplets we did, now here's all the different size bottles, and we sell 3 different flavors. Like you said, the olive oil is our #1 seller, because it's the one we've chosen to use in all the lab tests, because it's the strongest. It holds 0.8 milligrams per milliliters of ESS60. The avocado holds 0.6, and the MCT coconut oil, most delicious by far, only holds 0.35 milligrams per milliliters. So it holds less than half what the olive oil holds. I got so hooked on it in my coffee that I went, well, I know how to solve that. I put in twice as much. Ta-da! So, and oh my God, coconut oil in your morning coffee is a dream. The MCT coconut ESS60. So we do sell 2-ounce bottles, which are smaller than what you see there, but only by the case, because it's only a week. And we don't typically encourage people to buy a week, because it takes 2-3 weeks to really feel the effects, where you're going, wow, no doubt about it, this stuff works. 1 little week, it's like, yeah. So you can buy a case of 2-ounce bottles, which is kind of a nice investment, especially for Christmas, because you get 12 of them, all the different flavors you can buy. And what you're seeing here is 4-ounce, 8-ounce, 16-ounce, and 32-ounce. And 32-ounce is huge. I've got one here for the first time ever, and I'll show it to you when we pop back. So there's the olive oil, there's the avocado oil, and the MCT coconut. Chris does all 3 every day. He does the olive in the morning, which I do. He does the coconut in his coffee, and then he puts the avocado oil on his salad. And he's in Qatar right now at the Cup, at the World Cup. I mean, the guy is on fire. He takes so much ESS60. I bet he didn't even need it plain. He just flew. Come on, honey, wife, get on my back. Yeah, I mean, he's wired for sound. I can only do so much, or I don't sleep, but I do a tablespoon a day. We recommend a teaspoon. So the thing about the case, if you buy 12 bottles, keeping in mind Christmas, keeping in mind 1 or 2 friends to split it with, you're going to save 25%. So a case of 12 bottles of anything we sell, even the facial serums, of course, you'll save 25%. And the best thing you could possibly do is buy a case and use Noah's code and get another 10% off. My partners don't love it, but you're going to get a really good discount then. And you can stock up. We don't know what's going to happen with the trains or the diesel, or the idiot. I'm sorry. Oops. So
the resident.
So in the meantime, we have to, keep in mind to have the things around that we're going to need if, golly forbid, things slow down as far as deliveries. So I did kind of use it as my excuse to get this enormous, look at that, 32-ounce bottle.
Hey, there you go. Look at that.
Like the size of my head. I said, well, I should be able to show. So I got a 16-ounce of the coconut. That's, it's pretty good size, but the 32, man, you give that somebody for Christmas. They're going to love you forever. And so we've got all kinds of holiday specials. And we also have gift sets. But let's go back to the products because we didn't show you the rest of the face and the lips and the a few more products.
Yes. There we go.
Sorry, yeah, I got carried away. Okay, so here is like my most favorite invention, which is the Advanced Facial Serum that's essence of rosemary. It is so divine. You put it on at night, and they say rosemary takes you into an etheric state. Again, Patty woo-woo, but it was designed by Brigitte Mars, who's written 14 books on raw foods, herbs, and she just helped me design a new product that'll be coming out in a couple months. So this facial serum, when I met her to do the formula, I looked at her and she's pushing 70. And I was like, wait, what are you doing on your face? You look 50 or 40. I mean, her skin was just butter. She said, chia seed oil. What? Have you ever heard of chia seed oil and facial serum or body lotion? I haven't.
No.
So it's in the new one, and boy, are we getting rave reviews. So that little darling bottle comes in this beautiful gift box. It is a lovely gift to give somebody. Men love it. When I do shows with Michael, Jaco, and Chris, my partner, both the guys are swabbing it all over their face. Mike's putting it on his CIA head. And here I am, the girl, like doing the talking, and the guys are lotioning up. Oh, God, this slather is so cute. And the two of them have fabulous skin. When you buy a set, such as the Advanced Inside Out set, you get the Advanced Facial Serum and an 8-ounce bottle. And I was talking about the in and out benefit. We highly recommend it. You'll save 15% off all the gift sets. So here you go, 15% off a gift set. Sign up for a monthly subscription, 20% off that. I'm going to get in trouble. NOAH at checkout, another 10% off that. And you will not be spending anywhere near as much as you think you would. And you're going to love the products. So once you hook a deal of what products you like, then you'll get it every month if you want. Or if you say, I've got a little extra of this, just drop us a line and say, cut back on this, but send the rest, and we will. Then we also came up with the lip balm that is so delicious. Did I send you some of those?
Yes, they're great.
Which is your favorite, the plain or the spearmint?
I just kind of like the plain, actually, but I mean, they're both great.
Most people are hooked on the spearmint, and I guess I made the plain for you.
Yeah.
And when we do a flavor that is so sensual, like you can smell the mint, you can taste the mint, and there's people that would rather have neutral. So we do have both lip balms, and we sell those in a 4-pack if you just want to buy the lip balms for $28. And there's 2 of each flavor, or 2 of the mint and 2 of the unflavored, or you can just try them in the Inside Out and Lip set. And we do those in the 4-ounce and the 8-ounce size. So again, you're buying a gift set of the Inside olive oil and the facial serum and the lip balms, and you're getting a 15% discount. You can just try it once and love it and get a nice discount, or you can sign up for a monthly on top of that and get another 20% off, and then use the NOAA code. Stay safe.
Yes, that's awesome. Well, it's definitely the time to get that lip balm, and I need to get mine back out. We over summer I didn't use it as much, but man, we're cold temperatures here, and my lips are already cracking. So I'm glad we did this interview, because it reminded me to go get mine out and put it in my coat pocket.
I've got one next to the chair, one in my purse, one in the bathroom. I've got them all over the house because I really I love keeping my lips moist. If you want to try all 3 flavors, we have the sampler set of the oils. And I always encourage people to try them, because I don't know what you're going to resonate with. Some people want half the buzz. Some people, my daughters both love the coconut oil in their morning coffee, just because it's so good. And you get a really smooth buzz, and boom, it starts at the beginning of the day. So you can get the 2-ounce sampler minis for $125 And again, do it monthly and it goes down to 99 or 99, I think. So the samplers, you can get the 2-ounce, 3 little bottles, or 4-ounce, 3 little bottles, and that'll last you a month per bottle. The 2-ounce will last you a week, 10 days each. So, when you try all 3 flavors, then you'll say, oh my God, I love this flavor. And then you buy yourself a bigger bottle. If you've got dogs or cats, we do the pet sampler or the dog lover set. One for you, one for your dog. Cat lover set. One for you, one for your cat. If instead you want to not get yourself a 4-ounce bottle, but an 8 or 16 or 32, then you're going to want to just get a dog C60 Evo for dogs, or for cats, or the pet sampler if you have one of each, and they will last longer than yours for a month. So you will see amazing benefits for your pets. And I know most people really love their pets. When they're sick, it makes you sick. When they hurt, it makes you hurt. I read 1 or 2 testimonials. One was a dog spa, and he said, my dog had an ear infection. I put the ESS60 in the ear, and it was cured the next day.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody else said they used it for salve on their pet that had a spot on its skin that was really raw for a long time. Boom, it went away.
Fantastic. I know I heard from people, I think we gave away one of the dog lover sets, or we let people choose a dog lover or a cat lover. Maybe it was last year. And I heard from a lot of people when we did that they use this and love it for their pets. So you're right. People, the pets are up on a pedestal, and I get it. They're great. But if that's you, if you love your pets, you definitely want to check that stuff out.
I think that's pretty cute. A pedestal.
There you go. Didn't even know. But that's
did.
That's
so
good.
Vet clinics. You want to cure your animals? You're a veterinarian, or you love your vet and you take your pet there too often? Get them a bottle of C60 and let them give it to all their clients and see amazing improvements. I'd love to get us into more medical offices, because it just takes the place of so many things that don't work. And I think that we're moving into, here comes winter. Yikes. Let's go to the holiday gift sets, because those are another big collection. There you go. So now we've got really big collections.
There you go.
And breakthrough hair and skin. So you've got all the products with the inside oils, and then the face with the peptides, and the skin with the peptides. Or skipping the hair, if you didn't lose hair, you can do both the facial serums, which I would love to have, which I do, and then the lips and all the edible oils. So these are bigger collections, and we're recommending give the gift of healing and longevity and energy and radiant health. These are gifts that are guaranteed to please. People aren't going to throw them away like a sweater or socks that don't fit. This is something that's kind of one size fits all. And, you might need to egg them on a little bit, like I am with some of the influencers like Roseanne Barr. Small price, when people take the product, they're like, oh my God, it is good. So it's been a treat for me to watch the reaction.
Now, wait a minute. You said you got Roseanne taking this stuff?
Oh yeah. She's been on it for a while, and she's so funny. I mean, we're texting. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think she'll be promoting us very soon. But she keeps saying, I use it every day. I love it. I use it every day. I love it. I'm like, okay, can we talk? I'll have my son call you. He does all the business. Okay, here's my number. Anyway,
wow.
All good things come in time. Oh, I've got Scotty McKay, right in here, and for me, it's about getting all the patriots to stay well,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
all of us that care about America are patriots. I don't care the D or the R, that doesn't even matter anymore. I think we're kind of getting to know that it's really about honor and integrity, truth, and kindness. It just is.
Exactly right.
The thing that I'm finding about these products is it makes people more mentally balanced. So I take it every day. My supplements, yeah, iffy. My glutathione, my all these different things, but this I take every day, and everybody I know does too. The dog lover family set, those ones at the bottom, so cute. Wait, go down. Yeah, we've got the dog lover family, so you can get it for your dog and for you, or the cat lover and for you. And it's almost hard to tell, but the smaller bottle of the 4 is the pet formula. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
So again, even if you're only going to buy it once, sign up for a monthly subscription.
Yeah, that is the best advice on this, and it's really true. So do that, get the discount, and most people will stay on it. But if you don't want to, or you don't want to buy it that month, then they will work with you. There's you can email them, you can call that phone number. There's a chat button down here. And I am proud to work with you, because I never want to work with companies that don't honor their word or don't put out a good product, and your company does both of that. So it is. Thank you for your time being on the here. I got to get you bigger here. Hang on. Let's get you back there. All right. Thank you for your time, Patty. Thank you for coming on. It is always so fun to talk with you. It is an honor to get to work with you and to be taking your product for the last couple of years. I never knew I would be this close to Roseanne. So me and Roseanne have something in common now. How about that? And
yep, she's taking it.
That I can't believe you waited till the end of the interview to tell me that bombshell.
We work with really great people. Frankly, I think the hardest name to say is yours. We love Trump because there's so many people that just aren't quite aware enough to realize who wrote what executive order on his first day and who wrote the other one.
That's true. Yes.
So, and even today was an interesting phone call where I had to really hold myself in. But again, it's not that hard. I take my Evo early in the morning, and I really feel this incredible sense of balance. And I think that it's going to be really important as we move into these next couple of years. We're going to see a lot of people die suddenly. And there's going to be a lot of pain and suffering of losing people. But those of us that are taking these products and taking care of ourselves, I really believe we're going to have a much better chance. A lot of the people that wrote testimonials say, I never get sick anymore. A number of our testimonials from influencers say, I used to take a different C60 product. As soon as I started taking the ESS60, what a difference. So a lot of people are not impressed by perhaps other companies with their products, because when we tested 22 different companies in our lab, their bottles had 30% of what the label claimed. Hi, we have high, purity, 0.86, but they had 0.3. So it just kept happening. And at the end of testing 22, I said to the scientists, what are the results? And they said, woefully low. We saw 10 to 30% of what the labels claimed on almost everyone. But again, for me, we can't show how great you look or how young you are or aren't. But people that know me from my movies have seen me, for years. And you got to be able to see the difference in my skin. And I'm in my late 60s. So for me to be anti-aging after what I've been through, frankly, for me to be alive, every day I knock on wood and say, I win. I'm still here.
I love it.
And that's my testimonial. Everybody's got theirs, but mine is I'm still here. And that makes me super happy. But to be a co-owner of C60 Evo with Chris and Robert, the inventors of the carbon 60 molecule for the world, I couldn't be happier. And the products that we have are just splendid. And gift giving, look at our facial serum. I'm kind of proud. One more brag.
I'm glad you have the box.
So pretty. It says revive, replenish, rejuvenate.
They are great. It is great packaging. So it comes in beautiful boxes and actually does look really nice. So, well, Patty, thank you so much. We're going to there's going to be a couple links below. One is going to be the link where you can get my discount. The other one is going to be the link to the giveaway. And so, and thank you for breaking that news tonight that you're going to actually do a giveaway every 2 weeks for those capsules. I've used those too, by the way. I used to love taking them with me if I was, traveling that day or whatever. So those capsules are really great. I love that product. It's just easier sometimes. So that giveaway will go live as soon as this video is posted. We'll draw the winner in 2 weeks, and then we'll draw another winner. So thank you for your generosity, and thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. We'll have you back again. And if you want to hear more about Patty's prior life and all of those videos that she made, I'm going to just put that video right on the end of this one. So keep listening, and you can see all those beautiful pictures and videos that she did. It really is some pretty amazing stuff. You might think you've seen a lot of that, but to see it up close and to see some of the patterns is pretty wild. So Patty, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to let this video keep playing for everybody that wants to stay on, but I'm going to say goodnight to you today, and we'll have you on again soon.
Thank you. Be well, everyone.
Welcome back to the Daily Truth Report. I'm your host, Noah, and today we have a brand new guest, something I've been excited about for a long time, and we finally had the time to pull it together. Joining us for the first time on the show is Patty Greer. Patty is a woman of many talents. She is co-owner of C60 Evo, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but she has a tremendous history in crop circles, studying UFOs. She's a filmmaker. She's over the course of 10 years, she has produced numerous films that have won multiple awards, 8 full feature UFO films that have won 8 prestigious awards, including 5 EBEs. Patty, you can explain to us what those awards are in just a minute, but we are so delighted to have her here. And Patty, I want to officially welcome you to the show.
Thank you. It's a great honor to be here, and thank you for the really important work you're doing. The incredible deep dive that you go into all the research is impressive. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I tell you what, I'll tell this story really briefly to start off with. I got to know you through your company, C60 Evo. I had heard a lot of people online talking about C60 and the incredible health benefits. There's a picture of it. I've got a bottle on my desk here. And I'd heard about it, but that's all I'd heard. No one was saying where to get it, and so I started looking around and actually did a lot of research and found your company as producing the most high quality, best for human consumption product, and started working with you. Started just using it and loving it, and then started to work with you more closely, and we're now proud to promote it, and we've gotten a lot of people to start taking it, and they love it too. So we'll talk more about that later, but that's how I came to know you. And then a few weeks ago, all of a sudden I was watching SGT Report with Sean, and shout out to Sean, who does incredible work, and I'm a big fan, have loved his show for many years. And all of a sudden I see Patty on SGT Report and she was talking about some of her movies. She was talking about a lot of her work, and it was just a fascinating interview. And I realized I had no idea she was into all this. So I said, I've got to get Patty on my show and talk with her. And that leads to today. So Patty, I'm so excited to ask you a lot of questions. I want to set the stage just a little bit, and then I'm going to turn it over to you to let you really take it away here, because people want to hear from you, not from me. But the mission of our site is to search out truth and to report truth wherever we find it. And most of the time that's in reporting the news. It's conservative news. It's the truth. It's not the fact checked type of stuff that they only want you to see. We report what's really going on. But sometimes that means getting into some different topics, like what you've worked on your whole life and your whole career. And I want people to stay with me, because when I say crop circles or I say UFOs, I know some people will tune out at that. Other people are fascinated, and I'm fascinated by it too. But we're going to talk about a lot of evidence today from your firsthand work. You've been on the scene for 10 years, shooting your own videos, collecting evidence, and the stuff you've seen really is incontrovertible. There may be some debate about what's causing it and where it's coming from, and we'll talk about that. But there's no debate that something's going on. And that's what I find so fascinating. And we want to report that. We don't want people to be blindsided by some of these things when they come out. I think a lot of people that watch our show and read our websites are familiar that there may be coming a great alien deception. You can see the groundwork being laid for it already. Even as far back as Ronald Reagan was talking about how an alien invasion would suddenly unite all of the world. And it seems to be the one card they haven't played yet. So
I wanted to share my interest in that and the reason I'm so excited to have you on the show. And we're just gonna see where this goes and let you take us on an adventure, because I'd like to find out what's real, what you've found. And I think you have a lot of pictures you brought with you. And so let me turn it over to you. Please take us away and tell us about your history, how you got into this, and show us some of the things you found across the years that you've worked on this.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And also for letting me know that, the audience, a lot of audiences like Sean's SGT report, have really religious views and limitations to their thinking. And I respect that, but there's nothing religious other than the symbolism about crop circles. There's nothing demonic. And again, all I'm going to give you is my perception. And I've been in more than 100 crop circles in the UK and Italy. I was locked into every summer. All I wanted to do is be in England in the crop circles. And in the whole world, we have a lot of appearances of crop circles in different countries, and they're always amazing. The farmers are totally surprised to find them in their field, but then the meticulous nature of not a stem out of place, it's remarkable. It's like a whole wall of standing wheat or barley, and it's meticulous. And in the center of this circle, it looks like one big movement of almost wind or water. Whoosh! It just laid the circle down, and it has a tremendous flow to it. So I was never into UFOs. And UFO, the term itself, unidentified flying object, is completely misleading when it comes to crop circles, because number one, they're not unidentified. Number two, they don't fly. Crop circles don't fly. And they're an earth science that's been proven to be real. And the scientist, William Levengood, absolutely brilliant man, had researched plants and soil for 50 years before somebody delivered crop circle stalks from England, the UK, the epicenter. And dozen after dozen started coming in once they realized, oh my God, there's something going on here, because the stalks were bent and not broken. And the wheat continued to grow. And ultimately, what we found in my 8th film, Crop Circle Diaries, which I would have never guessed, was the science. I was invited to the lab of William Levengood, the great scientist who researched crop circle nodes scientifically. He's the only scientist that we know of that really took it to the extent that he did in his lab. And he realized that the seeds are growing 30 to 400% more food and biofuel per plant, with up to 75% more nutrition per seed. That right there is the punchline.
That's incredible. And this is documented in a scientific lab.
Yep. They became super seeds. And they repeated the test after test after test in the, what do they call the chamber? The germinating chamber. And they would put it in germination paper and stick it in there. And they had to do the test repeatedly. And they finally found the absolute miracle, which was in the back corner of Levengood's drawer of his desk, which he finally cleaned out after years. He found this little envelope of seeds in the back corner, and he thought, oh, and he looks in and they're all dried and shriveled. And he said, oh, no proper seedsman would. So he starts to throw them out, and that little boy said, don't do it. So he tried to throw them out again, and that little voice was like, mm-mm. So he put them in the germination paper, put it in the germination tank, and sure enough, the seeds that were neglected, starved of light and water and fresh air, grew 30 to 400% more food and biofuel. They were the first ones that did. So there's something also about neglecting the seeds. It's not just the technology that makes them super seeds to the max, but they discovered in the lab and did it repeatedly, the same thing over and over again. And they realized that what's happening in a crop circle is not the silly ones with the humans and their boards and ropes after the night at the pub. And it's not the military sending geometric shapes with lasers. It's not any of those things. in the long run of the great formations, which is, in my opinion, 90% of them, are real crop circles. And what it is, and this is kind of hard to swallow, but it's a beautiful thing. It's the earth herself. The living earth grows trees, grows plants, grows flowers, grows a forest, has an ocean, has a river, lots of them. So what we have here is a living earth who's communicating with her humans from within the earth, sending up these messages with conscious intention of, this is going to be a hummingbird. This is going to be sacred geometry. This is going to be an alien face in a binary code disk that delivers a specific message. Do you remember 2002, the year after 9/11? Do you remember that alien face and the big binary code disk?
I've heard of it.
It was pretty remarkable. And it was deciphered as this, which is really remarkable. And if you think of the earth as a conscious entity, and not getting religious, not getting woo-woo, but the earth scientifically is awake, is alive, and possibly, which I think it's true, sending messages in a language we all understand around the world. There's no language. There's pictures, pictograms. There's sacred geometry. There's mathematics, binary code, Mandelbrot, Fibonacci sequence. There's amazing crop circles, really, really ornate, and they happen overnight, and they take up an acre or half an acre or 3 acres, and it's just flawless when you walk in the field. Mm-hmm. So you had asked me, how can you tell if they're real or not?
Right.
And the knot would be made by humans. Okay, boards and ropes for BBC, boards and ropes for Ancient Aliens. I know for a fact that these guys hired teams of crop circle makers that, you know, go out and they think they can fool people. But if you are a crappie, like I was, and probably am forever, you'll know that if you go into a crop circle or you look carefully at the footage, very carefully, every 3 feet, the board goes back down and the wheat is broken in a straight line. And then there's 3 feet and boom, the wheat goes down and it's broken. So every 3 feet, basically the board, the ropes lifted, stepped on, lifted, stepped on, and you'll see broken wheat. So that's obviously a human-made crop circle. They're easy to recognize. It doesn't take too long. But the real crop circles, which were most of them that I went in, for me, within 10, 15, 20 feet of coming to the opening of that actual crop circle, the little teeny hairs would stand up on my arm and the back of my neck. And it was like tingly on the top of my head. It was a sensation that was palpable. And that's how I knew they were real. Number one, no broken wheat. It was bent. And these flawless nodes, and I'll show you images in the presentation of what a node looks like that's bent over in a real crop circle. And there's been hundreds and hundreds of them documented around the world.
Wow. So yeah, and Patty, do you want to pull up some of those photos now? I think you brought several for us to look at. I'd love to see some of these. And I think everyone would love to see what you're talking about, some of these shapes and designs.
All right. Are we full screen?
Yes, I can see it. It looks great.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll just take you on a little journey of what it's like. This was the last time I was in a crop circle. It was 2014, and I was with Sasha Stone. I don't know if you know who he is, but I took him in his first crop circle, and I was filming another movie in the UK. Everything I do is in the UK, but that's what it looks like in the field. You have no idea where the crop circle is because all the wheat is the same height. You can't see it fall. You know, you can see things come up, but you can't see them go down. So it was really interesting trying to find them. If you've ever seen any of the Fall of the Cabal documentaries, that was my friend Janet Osabard. She's walking in front with the white shirt, and I'm walking in back with the green shirt.
Wow.
And In between us is was her boyfriend years before, Bert Janssen from the Netherlands, and Paladin Jenkins and his son from Glastonbury. But Janet and I were very good friends, and it was interesting that both of us ended up making a lot of films. But here you are, walking into a big field of wheat. The only thing you know is stay in the tram line, which is where the tractor tire goes. So it's flattened down and you can walk through it. And the etiquette, of course, is don't trample the farmer's wheat other than where he put his tractor tire. So that's a typical walking into a crop circle.
Wow.
This is where people would find me typically, and they wouldn't find me very friendly. I was there on a mission. And when you said, what drew you there? In 2004, which is 18 years ago, I was poisoned by a dentist with mercury fillings. He did a really whatever sloppy job. And I got raging cuts on my fingertips, which lasted until literally 2 months ago. I've had cuts on my fingers for 18 years, and it's been grueling. I've tried everything. Laying in a crop circle is one of the things I tried, and I didn't help, but it certainly distracted me because woohoo, I started making movies. So 2007, at the end of the season, I'd been there 9 weeks, and this was this beautiful crop circle. Now you notice some of them are green because that's the beginning of the season. It's April, May, June, and they're luscious. And the wheat is undulating in the wind, and they still look like this from the air, not like this brown one, but the green ones are early season. Starting July, August, they turn brown and they become brittle. And for the earth herself to lay down a crop circle this large at the beginning of August, when everything was this brittle, look at the perfection.
Right.
To me, this is remarkable.
And something like this is made it overnight and it just appears suddenly the next day. Is that right?
That's correct.
Wow.
Yep.
And what's the sizing on this, Patty? How big of the space is this taking up?
You know, I'd have to do the research to find out literally this one or any of them, because I don't think size unless I'm in them. So I'm sorry, I don't have the answer. But when you're in them, you have no idea what the picture is.
Sure.
All you see is a jagged angle like a V. In this one, for instance, all those triangles, you know, all you'd see is flattened wheat. It's really bizarre. You have no idea that those are 3D cubes. But this is the crop circle where my life changed. Sugar Hill, 2007. I went into the middle of this crop circle. There was nobody there. It was a warm afternoon, and I closed my eyes like I always do. And when I opened them, I don't know how long it was, I could see things in the sky that I had never seen before, and I still see it today. And the term that they gave me, which I had this little notebook, and I was like, what, who was that? What was that? You know, and I was wide open, willing to listen to anything that wasn't crazy. And they said amoeba. So I wrote down amoebas. What I was seeing in the sky were these round things moving quickly. I also saw the glints of light that everybody sees and they think, oh, my eyes, I've got a problem. No, it's energy. And if you look at those glints of light, which is all I did laying there when I opened my eyes at Sugar Hill, I was stunned because they never stop moving. And so they have intelligence and energy, and they never bump each other. So they have consciousness. And anybody can go outside when it's daylight and relax your eyes, lean back and look at the sky, and you'll start to see these glints of light. You'll see them everywhere. And if you lay there long enough or sit there long enough looking at the sky with blurred vision, you'll see I think they're plasma circles, or they call themselves amoebas, but they're these little round things moving through the sky, and they are everywhere, which I would have never known before that day in Sugar Hill in that formation. And I didn't know for years that I had an out-of-body experience, because next thing I knew, I started making movies hard and fast. And so in 2007, I hired a film crew and just had them film everybody. But I came back in 2008 with my own camera and I was ready to roll. The things that convinced me were that I brought the footage home, had no idea what I was doing, but I was so amazed by what I had seen in my first summer, 2007. I was there 9 weeks. And at the end of the movie that I put together with this wonderful editor that I found on Craigslist, a 26-year-old guy, brilliant filmmaker. At the end, we took the footage called Oliver's Castle, where these balls of light are going slowly over a crop circle and they lay it down in seconds. Have you seen that footage?
No, I haven't.
I probably should have brought it and stuck it in here. But if anybody looks up Oliver's Castle crop circle video, you will see 2 balls of light lay a crop circle down in seconds on camera. And in all 3 of my crop circle movies, I show this footage. But what was amazing was that at the end of my first film, we laid it in, and then I said to the editor, let's take a break. And so we started to walk out on the deck and come up for air. And I said, oh, you were going to turn the gear off. And he said, I did, everything's unplugged. And I said, well, there's a big blue orb on the monitor. And he looked back and we were both stunned because that wasn't even in the movie and it was clear as day. And he walked behind it and he said, Patty, the monitor's unplugged.
Wow.
The goosebumps came back and all of a sudden it was like the little hairs went up on my arm, top of my head, tingles, everything. And I looked at this editor and I freaked him out, I'm sure. And I said, sit down, we're not done yet. So I took the footage of Oliver's Castle, the balls of light, and I said, reverse the film. And he said, why? And I said, I don't know, just do it. And I started getting very trancy. And I said, slow it down. He said, how slow? And I said, I don't know, 30%. And we did it. And in that moment, I yelled, oh my God, stop. And I found this. Between the 2 balls of light was communication, in my opinion, in binary code. And in my opinion, the left ball and the right ball communicated by saying, I'll do this, you do that. And boom, within seconds, that crop circle happened.
Wow.
So that's in all my films.
This is incredible. So these orbs or these balls of light, you don't like to call them UFOs. What do you think they are?
I think they're Earth energy of spinning plasma fields. And William Levengood, I'm going to get to the photos soon, is the only reason I think this. And it took 5 days at his secret partner's house for me to understand that balls of light that we see over crop circles right before the circle happens, and you only see that in the morning when it's sunlight. What we have is this spinning plasma fields coming out of the earth in counter rotating vortices of spinning plasma. And the 2 fields spin until they get to the exact frequency and speed that they need to be to create that formation, that crop circle message. And boom, the balls communicate, boom, field goes down in seconds.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I say I went to England to heal my hands from mercury poisoning, I was like the freak of nature in the gosh darn black gloves everywhere. And people thought, oh, she's so professional with her movie camera and her gloves. And it's like, okay, ignore the Band-Aids. And yeah, it was tough.
Patty, what does that mean? Your fingers, was it almost like they were so dried out, they were cracking and bleeding? What was happening to them?
Yeah, they were cracking and splitting open. And I was a professional harpist for 33 years before this happened. And I never had a problem. And it was relentless. I did every kind of healing, just about, other than voodoo. I didn't do that, but I tried combo, which is, the frog venom, and they burn your skin and load the venom. I mean, I tried everything. And I wore gloves for a long time. So most people see that and think, oh, professional. So that's my secret. No, hiding Band-Aids. But
Wow.
The camera was great. Oh my God. Now we've got an iPhone that weighs an ounce. That thing was like 15 pounds. The tripod was too. And I'm just a little thing. That was just a beast to haul around. But 8 movies later, I have no regrets. Okay, so here's evidence. What you have is stalks of wheat or corn or barley These don't have corn. These are wheat and barley. And the heat inside the plant, when it gets hit with these frequencies, the spinning plasma fields, boom, it happens instantly, that it like boils the liquid inside the stalk of the plant, and then it lays it down in the exact direction that was predetermined.
Wow.
So sometimes, like image number 3 on top, it blows open. So that's a blown node. And a node is like an elbow, where the plant kind of stops, takes a breath, and then starts growing another segment. So at the segment corners, which are the nodes, they would extend sometimes, like the far right on top, which is an elongated node. Really
Sure.
impressive.
Yes. Wow. So then they lay down perfectly, but they're and then they keep growing.
Yes.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. Look at that bottom right, clean crop circle center. I love centers, but the different directions of spin and the difference in the way that the wheat is allowed to stand or lay or bend, that's art to me.
Yeah, very, very clearly. I mean, these are design shapes and geometric shapes. Absolutely incredible.
And so they tried to fake it. They tried to cause this with microwaves and cause this with laser beams, and the plant would just smoke out, or the plant would die. It wouldn't continue to grow and become super seeds. And more amazing is the canola, which is April, May in England. They have like a 1 inch around, sometimes when they get big, stalk, hollow. So the hollow is liquid on the inside of the stalk, and it heats it to the point where, boom, it just bends exactly how it's told. This one to me is a fabulous sample. You just can't fake it.
That's amazing.
Right? So my friend Charles said he walked into a canola field and it was 10 feet tall, a crop circle. And the canola was 10 feet tall. And it was like a maze. It was really hard to find his way out, he said.
Wow.
So when you see the yellow fields in England, southern England, or yellow crop circles, that's canola.
Now, Patty, you said it's always England. Why do you think that is, or why is that the hub of these, or is that just where you choose to go?
It's where I chose to go because there were more there, documented there, than anywhere else in the world. Italy, close second. France, close second. Belgium, Holland, Switzerland, some. Other countries, 1 or 2. But they're documented all over the world. I think a lot of them just don't get noticed. If a pilot doesn't fly over, or somebody driving by doesn't stop and go, oh my God, look down, then nobody will notice there's a huge crop circle down there in the field.
Wow.
In England, they're looking for them. The pilots were looking for them. And the years I was there, we had documented about 150 crop circles every year, it seemed like, around the world, and 75, 77 were in England, in this area called Wiltshire. And it went all the way to Glastonbury to the west and Stonehenge to the east, and the crop circles were just sprinkled all in that area. Why? And why in France and Italy? Because crop circles appear over aquifers of water. 96% that we documented were over an aquifer of water. So that's one. And number 2, God, what was the other one was they're always sitting on a sacred site, a ley line between 2 sacred sites. Crop circles always appear on a direct line between 2 sacred sites.
So there's clearly some sort of intelligence at play here. But that's with the geometric patterns and appearing directly on those lines. None of that can be by coincidence.
I agree. And the intelligence of the patterns is remarkable. They're just meticulous. This is my favorite crop circle center ever. It was in Avebury Manor, right near the Avebury Stone Circle, which is the epicenter. You've got Stonehenge off to the east, And the Avery stone circle is actually older and larger than Stonehenge, but people don't hear about it. And this little area off to the side always gets hit with crop circles. There were 65 different centerpieces. This one was ridiculous to me. It was just dry wheat, twisted, not necessarily broken, twisted, rolled, I mean, braided in dry wheat. This was remarkable. And there were 65 different centers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And that's just one crop circle from
Wow.
the air.
And you said how many are documented every year? Did you say 75?
Well, the years that I was going and filming, there was an average of 150 around the world, 75 in England.
Wow.
Yeah. So lots of aquifers, lots of sacred sites, lots of stone circles. So here's William Levengood, the great scientist that got hacked and messed with like no tomorrow, because he actually proved without a doubt the crop circles are an earth science and that they're coming out of the earth and that they can save the food supply.
And walk us through that, Patty. How did he prove that they're coming from the earth? What did he do?
Well, okay, here's his lab partner, the lady that I met a year after he died. And I think that could be him hanging out above her, that little orb. But Penny and I got together, and as soon as I met her and realized who she was, I came back a month later for William Levengood's wake, a year after his death. And she and I spent 3 weeks together and filmed my final movie, Crop Circle Diaries, with all of the science. So they had been gathering corn and seeds from inside and outside the crop circles. And you can see the difference in the corn because I forget what the word is, but it grows this reddish stuff, which just is like heavy, fast speed growth hormone that's natural in the plant. That was remarkable.
Oh, very clearly different. Yes.
Oh, yeah. And it was the same formation. But that was
Wow.
the control, which means outside the formation and inside the formation turned red.
Wow.
And grew that much more.
Hmm.
Crop circle seeds grew 30 to 400% more food and biofuel per plant, with up to 75% more nutrition per seed. And I saw carrots and cucumbers, photos after photos, and they were all massive growth. And that was just the beginning, but then they grew a lot more food.
Well, so it's so interesting right now, Patty. I mean, everything we're seeing is food shortages and food processing plants being burned down and no baby food on the shelves.
Wow.
Something like this would sure go a long way, and it makes you wonder if this sure would be a good reason to cover this up if they don't want you to get this superfood and super seeds.
Right. Well, I think I'm the only one that's covered it, and I've paid a very high price like William Levengood did. So he tested the plants with magnets, and somehow he and Penny Kelly figured out that the changes were caused by the counter-rotating spinning plasma vortices by how far they would throw the wheat down. Like once it was delivered, how I probably need to get his exact words, and I forgot to grab my cheat notes of Lefty's words, William Levengood's words. But basically, it was just measuring the magnetics of the plants after they had been cut. They would still register whatever it was that they needed to know to prove that it was plasma. And then they proved that it was a plasma vortex. And then they created a machine called a charge density plasma machine, and they actually re-engineered Crop Circle Technologies. And in my final film, Crop Circle Diaries, I show the machine, and it's just 2 round metal discs connected to a charge density plasma machine set at 30. I don't know what, but I saw 30. And there it was. They just kept shooting the seeds with these charge density plasma that matched the frequencies that were happening in the crop circles. And they did find success. And then he went through hell. I don't even want to go into that story. It's too long, but I tell the story in the movie. Penny does, actually. So back to the beautiful crop circles, but what started happening? The doorway crop circle, to me, that looks like an Escher.
Absolutely.
Isn't that fabulous?
That is.
Early
Wow.
season, nice and luscious green. And all of a sudden, the farmers were told, you get a crop circle in your field, you want your government money, you will mow out that field and stop people from going in your fields. And all of a sudden, the farmers got less and less welcoming to us, and crop circles became much harder to access. The
Wow.
farmers didn't want us in the fields. They started mowing out the patterns. But this next one was my favorite story of all. The Avebury Manor crop circle. That's my friend Nick. He knew I was going up in the plane. I said, walk to the middle of formation and wave to me. He was perfect. So he got in there. And
well, so this gives the scale that I was asking about earlier. Look at
right?
how small those people are. That is huge.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, please. I like human reaction. So a lot of people will look at a crop circle and see something different than their neighbor. You know, a plumber always sees something different than an astronomer. And what the astronomers saw in this one supposedly was, oh my God, Pluto's missing. We've got all the orbiting planets here, but Pluto's missing. So everybody thought that was the big message. I guess the government told the farmer, you better mow it out and destroy it. So the farmer did some damage to the field the next morning. But guess what the mom did? She came back and went, oh yeah? Boom. And she hit it with a whole bunch more little crop circles to the right. The farmer took the orbit crop circle and drew 3 white lines with his tractor. You see that?
Yes.
And he did damage to it. Now, the previous image was green. So it must have been later in the season that it turned brown, that the farmer was told, mow it out. He didn't mow it out. He just damaged the message. And so the mother herself, in my opinion, came back and splattered all those little silly looking things. And I thought, oh, that's just a bunch of doodads. That just doesn't look like anything of interest. And then I walked into it slowly, and it took me hours because every single dippy doodad was freaking incredible on the ground.
Wow.
Look at that. It's a star. I mean, oh my God, I just love them. That they could be laid in flat lines in the shape of a star, but the rest of it would still be standing. And that was just one of the doodads that was phase 2 of this one. And to see the scale, that's the Avebury stone circle up above it. That big round circle, the raised berm you can see within is the Avebury stone circle.
Wow. I wanted to ask you about that, Patty. You've mentioned Stonehenge a few times, and that's obviously in the same area. Do you, and that's another longstanding mystery that people study and don't know where it came from. Do you attribute some of those places like Stonehenge to be related to this, or somehow connected or created in similar ways, or is there no connection at all?
Well, they're all connected. And again, the stone circles were erected by humans and gods. And the crop circles are messages from the earth. So it's kind of an interplay where one is a physical manifestation and the other is a communication to keep us going, hopefully.
So you think these are have messages? They're obviously geometric. They're obviously, I mean, this one really does look like the solar system. Other ones are, I've seen star patterns. I've seen obviously a lot of circles. Have you been able to decode the messages to something more than that? Is there a narrative message, or is it symbols? And what do you take from the messages?
I think it's been constant messages, different for each year, different for each season. We had an odd year in 2009 where there weren't sacred geometries or mathematics. It was all pictograms of birds, fish, and insects. And it was huge. And there was gorgeous octopus, 1,500 feet long, and an orthoceras, which is a 300 million year old sea creature. And then there was the scarab, which is the oldest, I think, one of the older insects. And then the fly and the bee, and the birds were the rising phoenix with the flames in a crop circle, a thunderbird that looked just like the Nazca Line's thunderbird. So all summer long, we were pelted with birds, fish, and insects. And I thought, wow, this is unusual because it's not the typical blend of different message forms. And sure enough, after the spring after that, the BP oil spill happened and killed millions of birds and fish and insects. And I think it was related.
Wow.
So yes, I think there's a lot of messages that are coming to us in advance. Wait till you see the VIRUS crop circle in 2019.
Yeah. Please keep going. These are, I've watched a lot of the Ancient Aliens. I mean, it's on TV all the time, and it's interesting. You turn it on, but many of these I've never seen these before. These are incredible.
Thank you. And I won't comment on my feelings about that show.
So I was going to ask. No comment.
Yeah, no, they came to me for footage and images, and I'm just going to say what a joke. So this here is too long of a story to tell, but in my final film, Crop Circle Diaries, I tell the whole story. But this is where consciousness and crop circles happen. Crop Circle Diaries. This particular formation happened the day after I was in my mountain house with a friend, and I discovered this artist who did these incredible paintings. And all of a sudden I found this Crystal Castle painting in bright colors with water, and oh my God, it was just so gorgeous. And I started crying and shaking, and the friend that was there, she said, "What's going on with you?" I said, "Oh my God, I've never felt this before. I think that this Crystal Castle painting, not this crop circle, that I was looking at, I think this is where I was taken in that 2007 Sugar Hill experience. I think I went to this place at Crystal Castle, and it had 5 pillars and 5 stars on top, and it was water everywhere, blah, 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 blah. And I was totally moved, and it was 10:30 at night. And I got up in the morning and I made coffee, and she was still in the guest room with her grandson. And I opened my computer, and I belonged to the cropcircleconnector.com, which I highly recommend. If there's a new crop circle, they send you an email that day or within days, and you get a lot of information about every new crop circle that's documented. So the next morning, boom, I get this crop circle image. And I thought I was going to croak. Actually, it was just the Crystal Castle. The goddess on top came 2 weeks later, I think it was. So it was just the Crystal Castle. And my friend comes downstairs. I'm sitting there shaking in shock. I'm crying again. She goes, "Oh my God, are you still a mess from last night?" And I said, "Look at the crop circle that happened while we slept." And It was the Crystal Castle. And it was 5 pillars, stars on top. And those aren't circles below. Those are drips of water. 5. And pretty amazing. And so she's just looked at me, and I said, "You know what? I must be really connected with the earth herself, that I would have this experience, and then I would see the Crystal Castle crop circle the very next day." For me, proof positive. I don't care what anybody else says. And then it was a week or 2 later, the goddess on top, she just huge and singing, and her arms up. She's just like, "Yeah."
That it really is. I mean, this is clearly not accidental. Just absolutely stunning.
So when Lefty Levengood, William Levengood, when he dissected the plasma vortices, he discovered that they had different layers and different frequencies with distinct boundary conditions. Some of them had electromagnetic fields, some of them had human consciousness fields, but not all of them. This one and 3 others that I documented in my films definitely had an interaction between me having the experience, remembering where I was perhaps taken with this piece of art that made me cry and shake, and then in the morning to wake up and see it in a crop circle and realize that at 10:30 at night, That's 3:30 in the morning in England. Crop circles happen within 2 to 3 hours of darkness because in the middle of summer, there's not much darkness.
Right.
Yeah, and the further north you go, there's even less. So this happened as I was having my experience. To me, proof positive.
Mm. Wow.
Isn't that beautiful?
It really is incredible.
So here's my final film and my 5 EB awards all lined up. Those little EBE, I don't know what that stands for, but they're International UFO Congress Convention. I won 3 Best Film, 1 People's Choice, and 1 Best Music for my original music soundtracks. But this film really talks about the science, and it's pretty advanced, but it doesn't leave anything out, and it features Penny Kelly. And I made 8 films. Before my hands got all messed up from the mercury poisoning, I had written and performed all this music with my harp and piano and singing and blah, blah bands. And so all my original music was like, oh, perfect for the films. I didn't have to license it. I didn't have to pay for it. It's like, perfect.
That's
And,
pretty nice.
I also won Best Musical Score for one of the films, which was
Wow.
really a treat. But the hacking got so bad. Oh God, it was awful. And I had 5 different copyright claims for my original music. Like,
So Patty, maybe you want to tell the story now, and I don't know that I've fully heard it. You talk about the attacks or the hacking or whatever. Do you,
yeah.
to the extent you want to talk about it, what got you out of filmmaking? What happened, and what can you tell us about that?
Right. Well, I don't talk about it a lot, but I'm happy to because you've got a smart audience that knows better. This is all my films, all my music in one box called Crop Circle Ecstasy, and it's half price for everything in one box. You just turn the page and grab the next movie. But that's the end of my presentation. So,
Is that, Patty, before you go on, I want you to tell that story, but where do people find these? Are these on Amazon, or do they go to your website? Where do they find some of this stuff?
Website preferably, which is Crop Circle Films with an S.com, cropcirclefilms.com. I'm also on Amazon. And if you're curious, to know anything about me and my work, you can just type in Patty Crop Circle and I come up everywhere. I really, I was active and I did a lot of shows. And then I started seeing more and more and more and more Amazon stores selling my movies illegally. There were 234 stores selling my movies in Japan and Belgium and Hong Kong and all over the world. People were making money on my films and not me. And now they were hacking them up to $750 each so that nobody would buy my films.
Wow.
And what was that other little thing? Vimeo. My rentals, $3.99. Nope, they took those up to $650 each so nobody would rent my films. And then for 10 years, I was a speaker. I was the speaker about crop circles in America and Canada. I was flown around. I had so much fun. I absolutely loved my work. But more than anything, I loved being in the crop circles. So I was going to all these gigs, meeting all these people, selling a ton of movies. And amazingly, I still do sell a lot of DVDs. But people started getting upset with, I guess, I didn't know they were that upset, but my voracious nature of telling the truth in times of universal deceit. I was just going bold, because I had no idea that we were heading into World War III. And I think that, right now we're deep in it and everybody's being suppressed and journalists and blah, blah, blah. I think I was the early practice group of World War III. 5 years ago. It was when all the UFO gigs were happening, and then all the UFO leaders started dying off one by one by one by one. And I lost most of my friends that I honored that were great speakers: Jim Mars, Dolores Cannon,
Yeah, sure.
Stan Friedman, Cynthia Crawford, Dr. Roger Lear, who took out implants. All these people I featured in my films, boom, 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 died in a short period of time. And then I left my final gig because I made it my final gig, and I was at the airport. And next thing I know, I was on the floor in a pool of jello, and I
Oh,
was hit with some kind of directed energy weapon.
wow.
Some kind of a dirty weapon hit me because I was standing and then I was on a pool, in a pool. Literally, I just felt like I had no control of anything from my waist down. And it was very scary. And I haven't walked well since. It really wounded me to drop me that hard at a hard floor airport. But whoever did it got away with it. I didn't see them. Directed energy is invisible. And with everything I know now about plasma, I think I understand perhaps what kind of a weapon was used on me. It wasn't a heart attack weapon. It was perhaps, Penny Kelly said this. She said, if you want to create matter, you just organize plasma fields and spin it in the proper direction, clockwise, and you can create matter with intention. But on the reverse, she said, if used for evil purposes and you spin it counterclockwise with negative intentions, you can destroy matter. And I think that's unfortunately what they're playing with these DEW weapons. And
Right.
whatever it was that hit me, it was 5 years ago, I still hurt with every step, and I've done so much treatment. But I'm not dead. I think I'm the only one that's not dead. And I tap myself on the shoulder every day. Yay me, lucky. I hurt, but I'm alive. And when I was really severely wounded, somebody brought me some C60 to my cabin in the woods. And I was like, oh, yeah, I tried that last year. Somebody's, and they said, no, try mine. And it was pretty good. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And I got up and walked and was like, okay, wow. So he kept coming up and bringing me a bottle every week. And I thought, wow, this is good. And then I found the owner of the lab who actually manufactures C60 for the last 31 years. And it's two young guys, early 50s. And they invented a reactor machine in 1991, and they're still using a version of it today. But they created C60, carbon 60 molecule for industrial purposes, which are solar cells and tires and all kinds of things. So it wasn't until I started blabbing about it 5 years ago that it saved my life, that all of a sudden they started looking at it for human consumption. And so they upped the manufacturing process. When I called them on the phone, I said, let's be partners because I can sell the heck out of this because it works. I'm blown away at how it works. And you guys own this big lab, and I'm a girl, and I'm going to invent it for facial serums and lip stuff. And we're going to get this out to people. And so basically their answer was, we're sending you an NDA within a half an hour. How soon can we fly you down? So it's just magic. Chris and Robert and I have put together this beautiful product line. We've got 3 flavors of oil. We've got the facial serum, which is incredible, and 2 flavors of lip balm, which I love. And then if you don't like the taste of oil, we have capsules in the olive oil flavor because it is the one that was chosen for the experiment. In 2012, C60 was tested to see if it was toxic. They thought it must be. And instead of being toxic, it was the longest longevity study in history. And the test subjects, little rats, live 90% longer, which has never, ever been experienced with any other product. It won the Nobel Prize in 1996. And when we got together to do C60 Evo, we only now sell pure C60, which we've trademarked ESS60. And it's the upgraded version of no longer industrial grade for tires and solar cells, but for you and your dog and your cat and your wife and whatever. And business is incredible. We have very few returns. And most everybody that buys from us is a monthly subscriber. You save 20% every month, and you can cancel at any time. But 47% of the people that have started a subscription have stayed with us, and we're almost up to 3 years in business. So that's a testimony right there on the website, c60evo.com, EVO for evolution. This is the evolution of the manufacturing process of the carbon 60 molecule. And I don't think you'll find any better. You won't find a cleaner lab anywhere in the world. And it's been kind of a gift from God after being put into so much pain from sharing what I knew, like William Levengood did. But I took it further because I took it into let's save the damn food supply. And whoever it was didn't like that, but they're not bothering me anymore. They've gone on to other whatevers. But you know, it's been a high price to pay. Would I do it again knowing the outcome? No, this is hard. But I'm so grateful. And I got to go in so many crop circles. And there's no doubt in my mind they're real because I was in them. I saw them. And I know that if every 3 feet there's broken wheat, then that was ancient aliens bringing their boys and girls to blast down a crop circle for their cameras so that they could keep proving they're fake. But yeah, that's not my way.
Wow, what an incredible story, Patty. I want to go back real quick. You've still got it up on the screen, your C60 Evo. I mentioned earlier, I've been taking this, I think, for about a year now when I found your company and started taking this. I do want to say a warning for everybody. I'm not going to say any company names of other companies, but there are other companies out there that make a C60 product. It may not be as pure and as safe for you as what you produce. I've done a lot of research into your company. I've talked with your business partner, Chris Burris. He's been on our show. I'll put a link to that down below this if people want to watch that. And he's explained in detail what goes on. But your lab is the purest. It creates the highest concentration for human consumption. I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I don't believe the other producers of C60 have been certified for human consumption, or if they are, I believe they may be buying it from you. I think I've heard that before. So just, I do want to put that out there that if you're looking for the best quality, and again, we're not going to name other names, but we'll just name your name. You want to go to c60evo.com. I like from what I understand, the olive oil one is the one that was in all the tests. It produced all the data and has the highest absorption rate, so your body gets the most C60 when it's in the olive oil. So that's the one I take. But if you like the taste of the others, they're very good. I take the capsules sometimes if I'm out on the go and I just want to throw a few of those in my pocket. But tell me if you can sum it up just for people that are still trying to figure out what this stuff is. It's I think some of the stats, it's like 172 times as powerful of an antioxidant as vitamin C. I think I have that right. Can you tell us a little bit of what is it doing in your body? What's it doing for you? Why is it so good? How can you explain that for everybody, Patty?
Well, on a non-scientific version, mine is that it's like a free radical sponge that goes through your body and it sucks in all the toxins. What I have found in the 4 or 5 years that I've been taking it is at first you might feel the slightest bit queasy because it cleans out your intestinal tract, which can go miles. And when I say clean, it cleans. So it pulls out a lot of toxins that have been in you forever and it moves them through. But they called it the perfect molecule because it's small enough to get into places that vitamin C cannot. And it is 172 times more powerful than vitamin C as an antioxidant because it can get into all these small spaces and affect the cells. We have seen testimonials and photos of people with getting the greatest improvements in beautiful skin, smooth, soft hair, and a lot of energy, better sleep. Sleep is one of the big things that I think a lot of people are suffering from, me included this week. But the C60 Evo, you take it before noon, take a spoonful in the morning, and that's all you do. And you sleep better that night, more energy all day long, mental clarity typically, less inflammation issues, more flexibility, and then better sleep that night. We have constant testimonials of people saying the very same thing.
Yeah, Patty, the sleep was the big one for me. I noticed when I take it, and sometimes you forget or you're on vacation and you get off the rhythm for a bit. And then you really notice the difference. But when I'm taking it, I do notice, I guess I'd say a deeper sleep. You wake up feeling more refreshed, and but it's not like you wake up with more energy, but it's not like a caffeine energy. It's just it's a better focus. And at least for me, those have been my most noticeable differences. And it's really important. I don't think we don't get enough sleep, and we don't get enough deep sleep. So that's very important. I think I also have this right. Patty did C60, did it actually win a Nobel Prize, or there's some connection to a Nobel Prize, right? Can you tell us about that?
In 1996, 3 different scientists received the Nobel Prize for their work with the carbon-60 molecule because it was creating such fantastic effects for industrial purposes, but it wasn't a weak molecule. Chris refers to it that it's as strong if you threw it really fast or shot it through a weapon, that it's as strong as a diamond, which is also carbon-based.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, Patty, I think you're going to, do you have a discount code that we'll post below this video if people want to sign up? I think you'll make that active. Is that right?
Absolutely. And it's your code. So I believe well, you know what? We're going to just link it below when we know exactly what it is, but it's to benefit your channel. Thank you for your support. And it'll get your audience a discount of 10% at checkout. So keep in mind that if you want to just try the product, you can get a 4-ounce bottle and it'll go a good month. If you want to try it on a subscription, you'll save 20%. So most people start with a subscription, and if you don't love it, you just cancel by email, by phone, no problem. We're easy. And you might want to try the sampler set, which is all 3 flavors, and that comes in a 2-ounce size for $125, or a 4-ounce size, which is $250, and that'll give you a bottle of all 3 flavors, and then you can see which one you like the most. I'm hooked on the MCT coconut oil, and they're all organic, but I put it in my morning coffee, and it is to die for fabulous. My partner loves the organic avocado oil over a salad in the middle of a day. And everybody uses the extra virgin olive oil because it holds more C60 concentration than any other oil in the world on the market. So our top recommended one is the virgin olive oil. And it was our lab that manufactured the C60 in the ESS60 upgrade form for the 2012 Paris Bhakti study, where those rats lived 90% longer and also died without tumors, which was, I think, the first time in history that Wistar rats did a medical test, and didn't grow tumors. So C60, it's a miracle molecule, and there's so many reasons why.
Yeah, that's incredible. And it's not the cheapest stuff out there, but it's quality. And hearing some of these benefits, it's, nothing is more important than your health. At least that's my opinion. So that's why I'm a subscriber, and I have been for over a year. And I would echo what Patty says. If you want to try it, try the subscription, get the free 20% off. And if you don't like it, you can cancel. But I should say, to be totally, we always want to do everything by the book here. This is not FDA licensed to treat or cure any disease. But what we're talking about here are testimonials from people that have used it. Patty's used it. I've used it. Other people that have used it and written in testimonials. So really, test it out yourself and see how you feel. But it's not a licensed drug. It's not FDA approved, and we're not telling you that it is. We're just telling you that we like it. So I think that probably covers us, Patty, with the official disclosure. So. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Yes, it's been a real pleasure. We have to do this again. I told you that when we lined this up, that I really wanted to do kind of an intro level interviews for people that maybe have only seen Ancient Aliens and haven't seen the real stuff, and have you walk us through some of your photos but we really just scratched the surface here. So we'll have to have you back on again at some point in the future. I'd like to hear a lot more. I know you've shooting videos for 10 years. You have a lot more to tell and a lot more to show. So we'd like to have you back on to do that. And I love that we can have a conversation about this stuff. I probably come at the world with a slightly different view than you do. I'm probably more of a Genesis 6:4 kind of a worldview. There's people out there that have a worldview of aliens causing these things. You have your view of the plasma orbs and the energy. And I love that we can have a conversation about this and talk about it and see photos and just get the truth out there, whatever that may be, and educate people. So I'd like to thank you for your time and for everything that you shared with us. It was just a real pleasure on my end.
Thank you. Mine too. I love going back to the memories. It's just super fun. So take care and know that crop circles are not flying. They're not unknown. They're actually a scientific, beautiful formation in the earth. And I think they're a communication from the earth to us so that we can all be at one, at peace again.
Well, that's wonderful. We are going to have, I bet we're going to have a lot of comments below this video, wherever you're watching it. If you're watching it on YouTube or on Rumble, go ahead and start the discussion. We're going to enjoy reading those comments, and then we'll have Patty back on and we'll advance the discussion. So Patty, thank you so much, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chris Burris. I'm a founder and proud owner of a US-based company, C60 Evo. I've been manufacturing the perfect carbon molecule since 1991. The perfect carbon molecule, which has been shown to support the well-being of thousands of customers, was discovered in 1985 and won the Nobel Prize in 1996. And that isn't even the amazing part. In 2012, researchers published the results of what ended up being the single longest longevity experiment in human history. The short version of the study is the test subjects, Wistar rats, given the C60 Evo formula, lived 90% longer than the control group. And unlike the control group, they all died without tumors. You probably want to know what such an amazing supplement can do for you. Let me first share our most consistent testimonial. Our customers report taking the product in the morning, they report mental focus and energy during the day, and then better sleep that night. Frankly, who couldn't benefit from a better night's sleep? The medical community certainly understands the benefits of sleep. Augusta Health reports, and I quote, "Sleep helps control our metabolism and weight, promotes stable moods, helps prevent cardiovascular diseases, boosts our immune system and function, increases knowledge retention." End quote. Basically, it supports our mental, physical, and emotional well-being. Angelina from Florida says, "I'm full of ideas and sleep like a baby." Jolene from San Diego, "I've noticed increased energy, better mood, and tons more motivation. To sum it up, I feel like I'm in my 20s again." So if you're interested in this perfect carbon supplement, visit NOAA's landing page, www.c60evo.com/We Love Trump. That's c60evo.com/We Love Trump. Don't forget to use the code EVNOAH, EVNOAH, for an additional 10% off of your first order.